Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today we're going to be speaking to you about how to be more confident within yourself.
Definitely. And guys, have you ever wished you had more confidence in yourself? Have you ever kind of wished if you had more confidence in yourself, you would be able to kind of go for that job or that promotion you've been after, or speak to that person you wanted to speak to, or do basically just do anything that you wanted to do just by having that confidence? It allows you to gain more possibilities and open doors for you.
Guys, we want to talk to you about this because we get asked so often how to build more confidence, or we hear, I can't do this because I lack confidence. And that causes big limitation for people. Even for me, once upon a time, like when I was much younger, I lacked confidence and it affected the decisions I made, how I showed up, the relationships I had. So building that confidence and bringing that back to yourself is absolutely vital. And we want to share that with you now.
So first off is we need to understand what confidence actually is. Okay, majority of us blame confidence all the time. So, I don't have the confidence, or it was my lack of confidence that is why I couldn't do this. But that's where it stops. There's no, okay, what actually is confidence? So how do we, this is stopping me, but what do I do next? So what is confidence? Confidence is faith and trust in yourself, in your own abilities to kind of see things through, and your own abilities to that that you can make it happen. Okay.
Definitely, it's that ability to know that you can figure things out. When you're a baby, right? You're born, you're brought into this world, and you're exploring, and you're kind of crawling around. You have this confidence that you'll figure it out. You don't doubt yourself as a baby because you're completely unconscious. You're not even having these thoughts. They don't exist yet necessarily in that way. So we learn over time that we are not enough. And this happens at some point, and it is learned. Please get that. I'm highlighting that so much because we learn maybe from experiences we've had. Maybe somebody told us we're not good enough. Maybe somebody showed us that we're not good enough at something. And then that gets instilled within you. You absorb that at some point when you were growing up. And we can always reverse engineer it back to a time in the past where you learned that there was something missing. And that something is that faith and trust that you have within yourself to be able to get things done or follow through on the thing that it is you want to follow through on. So at some point, once we've learned it, we've then kind of taken that on about who it is that we are. It becomes part of our story. It becomes part of our identity. I can't do this because I lack the confidence. Well, actually, you can do that because you had that. You was born with it. You had that innate nature. Right? You can relearn that, and you can bring yourself back into that state of knowing, that state of trust, and that state of faith to be able to actually bring it into your everyday now so that you can pursue the things that you want to pursue with the utmost confidence, knowing that you are enough, you are more than enough, and you have no reason to be lacking confidence necessarily.
Exactly, and it's just building on that skill. So you know that you learned not to be confident, so you can learn to be confident.
Exactly.
But the question is, why don't we? Okay, and one of the kind of clear reasons for this is unclear thought processes. Okay, so this is where we tell ourselves that, I don't think I've got the confidence to speak to this person. I don't think I have the confidence to stand up in front of a group of people. So you've got these unclear thought processes about what you're actually confident about. You keep saying, I'm not confident, but you never say I am confident. And if you're not confident, how do I get confidence?
Exactly. How specifically are you not confident?
Yeah, there's a lot of unclear thinking going on there.
There's no why.
No, there's no why, exactly. Yeah. And then this kind of brings us into overthinking. And so many of us do this. If I told you you're going to go and step on stage in an hour and go and make a speech in front of 100 people, okay, and it's just something you've never done before, what's going to go through your head? You're going to go, what do I say? I don't know what to say. What if I forget what I'm going to say? What if people don't like me? What if they boo me? What if they don't react? What if oh my God. And you just overthink everything, and that lack of confidence, that just builds and builds and builds. And you go, I'm not confident to do this.
Your thinking is feeding into that cycle the entire time, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, is overthinking it. If you actually just stepped out and done it, you'd probably do a crazy good job compared to what do I say? And overthinking it to the point where you literally just overthink yourself into a state of paralysis and you don't do anything. And this is where we start thinking too much about our external environment. We start thinking about, I can't do what this person can do, or how am I going to follow that? They're really good at doing this, they're really good at doing that. I can't do that. You keep comparing yourself to other people instead of looking within and trusting in your own abilities and having faith in your own ability to basically just go ahead and make it happen.
And that's the key there, is what John said about looking within. If you're constantly looking at your environment and everybody else and what they're doing, for example, a common thing that I hear people say is confidence seems to come naturally to everybody else. It doesn't,
Definitely
right?
not.
For some people, okay, they might be more confident in certain places, right? You put a fish in water, they're confident, right? You put a fish out of water, they're not as confident anymore. It's the same with humans as well. And we need to start to bring that focus to ourselves so we understand where it is we are. So for as long as you're focusing on everything outside of you, you are neglecting what is inside of you. And that is the thing that's inside of you is the thing that counts. That is where your confidence lies. That's where your skills lie. And that is where you are, isn't it? So that's where your confidence can be found.
Definitely.
So that being said, how do we build more confidence, and how do we relearn that confidence that I mentioned that we already had? And the first thing here really is that awareness. Making sure you become super aware. So like John said, it's like if we have an unclear thought process and we don't question why we are feeling this way, and we just put a full stop when we say, I don't have the confidence to go after that job that I want. If you then just put a full stop there and you don't explore that any further, you aren't going to be able to expand on that. You're not going to be able to grow from there. So your job now is to become more aware by expanding and exploring those kind of statements that you say to yourself. And from there, you will understand if there are any skill gaps, because it's absolutely okay if you don't have the confidence to do something you don't have any experience in, is there?
Definitely. Yeah, so for example, if I'm guessing millions and millions of people around the world can drive. They all have a license, they can drive a car on the road. Now, if I told you tomorrow you're going to become a Formula One driver, I'm going to shove you in a Formula One car and you're going to basically compete in Formula One. In your mind, you go, I haven't got the confidence for this. I say, I can't do this. And that's okay because you haven't trained to be a Formula One driver. So not having the confidence to basically jump into a Formula One car with no training and no experience, that is normal. But going from, obviously, okay, I can drive, let's get to a Formula One car, same thing, I'm going to drive around, crash, and probably going to hurt yourself. Okay, so you've just gone from one thing straight to another with no training, no skill set, no experience, and nothing, and just gone into something that could potentially harm you. So you've got the two kind of balances there. So you've got one where you're feeling non-confident because you're about to jump into something like that, and that's okay because you want to be unconfident in that. It's reality. Yeah. But then if you just ignore that and jump straight into it, you could potentially harm yourself without actually building on that skill set, building on those skills you need to make that happen and to see that through.
And in that scenario, which is a great example, there is a skill gap missing, right? For most people. I'm sure some people will just go and fly, right? Maybe. But the reality is there is a skill gap there, so it's okay to not feel confident. But when we don't explore and become aware if there is a skill gap missing, and we just use these flippant comments like, I'm just not confident enough, right? We don't get a chance to explore that. And we do not get a chance to find out if it is just a blanket statement or if there is any truth to it. So the idea here is that you become aware so that you find out what is true and what is not for you. What is storytelling and what is fact? If I say to you, okay, by tomorrow I'm going to speak fluent Italian and I've never spoken a word of Italian in my life, then there's a clear skill gap there. Right, and I wouldn't have the confidence to be able to show up in Italy being able to speak fluent Italian, would I? But if I already had some experience speaking Italian, which I don't, by the way, if I did have experience in Italian, then I would feel more confident in my ability to follow through on that. Even if maybe I felt somewhere inside that, okay, it was daunting and it was challenging, I would still have a skill set to fall back on. So you need to find out what is a skill gap and what is the real truth and the real perspective, what is true for you.
And once you have that awareness and you've kind of found your truth and you found your skill gap and you know where you need to go, your next step is repetitions, practice. Practice, practice, practice. Just by being aware and knowing where you need to go does not mean that, okay, great, my confidence is sorted now. You've got to now build that skill up, and you've got to practice in taking yourself back and trusting yourself, and trusting your abilities, and trusting in yourself to be able to actually make that happen. Okay, and this takes time. And that's the thing, it's not going to happen overnight. Like you said, by learning something, okay, I've read a book, tomorrow morning, I'm going to be a great speaker, I'm going to be a great driver, or whatever it is. It does take time and patience.
And action.
Okay, and action. Yeah, exactly. Practice. Take action. So eventually you build that trust and faith in yourself back to that point where it becomes natural to you again.
Look at when you meet a person, right? You build some faith and some trust before you go and tell them all your deepest, darkest secrets, don't you? The first time you meet somebody, you kind of have this bit of a guard up, don't you? And not always, but I mean, when you're talking about real deep personal things, if you meet somebody at the bus stop, you're not necessarily going to tell them your entire life story, right? Because you don't necessarily trust them yet. Maybe you need 1, 2, 3, 4 encounters with this person and to have some responses from this person before you can have that trust in order to then be able to flow into what it is you want to flow into and talk about. And you've got to take that same idea to build that trust with yourself. In the same way we build trust with others, we need to build that trust within ourselves, that we can show up for ourselves, that we can learn, because we can be open enough to know that we will figure things out. And when we do that, that relationship with ourselves grows, and that confidence grows, because confidence is like a muscle. Like John said, the more repetitions you do, the more practice you have, the deeper you are going to be able to connect with that ability to just show up and deliver and do the thing that you want to do.
Definitely. And once you've done your practice, you've got that trust, you've got that faith back, it becomes natural to you. Your main step next is, doesn't matter what you do, you have to believe. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in your own ability that you will figure it out, no matter what. Okay.
You don't even have to know the end goal. You just have to know that you can figure it out no matter what.
Definitely. So even if I don't know what's going to happen at the end, doesn't matter. Just think, I know something's going to happen, and I know I'm going to figure it out. Just
like when you were a baby, right? Just like your true nature, with the skill set that you was already born to do, is to explore and figure it out and learn to talk and learn to walk and learn to run. It's the same concept coming back together here, so you can remember and recall it.
Definitely. And if you need that little bit more of a push or that bit of urgency, this is where it comes into the fact of having what we call no backup plan. So have you ever been in a situation where you've done something, you've had no choice but to do something? It's like, that's your only direction is forward. You have nothing to back yourself up behind. You have to do it, and you've got to believe in yourself to get it done, and you get it done. This is what we call, some people might know, is burning the boats, or it's basically just having that only option and you have no backup plan to fall onto. Okay, so all your focus, all your attention, all your belief is into that one thing, pushing you forward to basically figuring it out and making it happen.
Some people are forced into those scenarios when they lose a job, or they suddenly find themselves in a position they didn't necessarily want to be in. They just take and run with that reality that they're in, and they have no choice. But you can create that kind of scenario for yourself without any suffering. That's essentially what we did, wasn't it? Yeah. So we was doing well. We had full-time jobs. We had very good salaries. We didn't dislike what we were doing, but we just knew it wasn't necessarily our future and our deepest passion and how much we could give and how much we could expand. It wasn't necessarily possible where we were in this direction. And at that time, we didn't necessarily know exactly where we would end up and where we're going to do. We still don't know where we're going to end up, right? Nobody does, really. But we took it upon ourselves to create a situation in our world, in our environment, that meant that we didn't have a choice. It meant that when we resigned from those positions, we was in a place where we had to believe that we were going to make it work. We had to figure it out. We had to learn. We had to grow. We had to expand. We had to face some challenges. We had to evolve as people, right? Just in order to be able to have the confidence to show up and deliver on something that we are so passionate about, and knowing the impact that it makes, and understanding how it is we can help and contribute to the world around us. If we didn't burn the boats and cut those ties of those comfort and those comfortable things like
Definitely.
the salary and the job and the ease, if we didn't cut that, we wouldn't have given ourselves the urgency and the push to do things in the way that we have done. So if for some people that can help to really build confidence in an idea or in a specific direction, but that belief must be present, that you will figure it out no matter what, because you can trust yourself just like you did when you were a baby. Right?
And the question is now, I know you're probably asking, is, okay, I need to build up my confidence and get to the point where it becomes natural to me. But what do I do in the interim? What do I do in that middle ground while I'm kind of finding my skill gap, finding my truth, and kind of building my confidence back up? Well, there's a few things that you can do to kind of while you're building yourself up and building your confidence back up.
Yeah, one of the biggest things I would say to start with here is understanding your state and your own body language. So it kind of ties into awareness, like I said earlier, but this is more about how you are presently and how you are showing up to yourself and to the external world. For example, things like how you carry yourself in terms of your posture, how open you are when you are around other people, the words that you speak, the questions that you ask. If you are aware of how you're breathing and you're aware of showing up in a relaxed state versus a fearful state of I'm not good enough or I'm not confident enough, if you are aware and clear on that thought process that John mentioned earlier, if you're on it with that, because you can control all of those things at all times, you have that possibility within you and you have that choice. So in this interim, you need to be making that conscious choice of how you are going to be showing up, that is going to, in order to serve the purpose it is you actually want.
Definitely. And what you've got to look at as well is being honest. Again, this is a biggie, especially with people coming up and kind of building that confidence and learning and kind of trying to shorten those skill gaps. Is honesty is key here. And if you don't know something, it's okay to say you don't know. It does not mean that you are less of a person or you are basically you're not good enough. Okay, because no one knows everything. I see me and myself and Charlotte together, we have over 30 years of combined experience in what we do. And we still come across people we follow and they go, what? I never knew that. It's like, I had no idea.
When you're in that learning state, you just soak things up and you get even more confidence because you put that in your backpack of knowledge and information and experience, and then you can fly from there.
Exactly. And if you get yourself into a routine of believing you know everything and you just fake it, guess what happens? You stop learning and you stop growing. So it's okay to say, I don't know, and then just go away and find out, learn it, and then come back and go, I know it now. So it's just be honest, and again, don't worry about what other people think. Okay, be honest with yourself, and if you don't know something, trust me, most people will completely respect you for it.
Yeah, for sure. They want to share their knowledge and their skill set with you, right? If their intention is pure, because they want to see other people grow. And the minute we think we know everything, we close ourselves down. And it might be that you feel like you don't have the confidence to show up honestly and ask questions, but that's when it comes back to, okay, well, what is your intent? Like, where are you of what you already know and what you need? Where is that belief? Where is that honesty with yourself that you need to show up and ask questions and think through clearly what questions do you need to ask? Because that is going to be what ends up defining you, is the how you actually show up. Because you not knowing and keeping yourself closed off, that's not necessarily going to help you. Not knowing something or having a skill gap or not feeling 100% confident doesn't define who you are as a person. It doesn't make you any less of a person because you don't know something. And I think sometimes we need to hear this, what we're saying now, because some people think, well, if I don't know this, people are going to think that I'm stupid, or they think that I don't belong here, or I don't deserve to be here. And that is not the case. In reality, you are still a whole person, an incredible person with limitless potential. And that's the point, is limitless potential. You can never completely fulfill it, right? So as much as you feel like, if you get that bit more confidence, it will make you more of a whole person. It won't, because you're already a whole person. There's nothing missing in the first place. You're not lacking in confidence. You just think that you are lacking in confidence. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make
okay.
sense. Blows your mind, doesn't it? Awesome, guys. But yeah, but so like I said, we've talked a lot about this. I hope you've obviously gained a lot of insights and like good information you can take away with you and really start to think about how to build your confidence back up and get to the point where it becomes more natural to you and you start believing in yourself again. Okay, guys, so let's just wrap everything up, what we've all spoken about. So in summary, confidence is faith in your own abilities to kind of figure things out and trust in yourself by taking responsibility for raising your awareness and your skills.
Yeah, definitely, guys. So if you've got any questions on this, please let us know. If you've got any obstacles that are showing up that's really preventing you from building your confidence and remembering this confidence that you were actually born with in the first place, then please reach out to us because we'd love to help you. If you drop us your email address, we will send you some follow-up videos on this so that you make sure you're continually building on your capacity to evolve even more as a human being from lots of different perspectives. All right. So until next time,
bye.
See you later.